Thank you for tuning in to another week with Fathers Who Care. Well, it's been one of those days, and I'm thankful to be here. I don't know about what else is going on with everybody, but I know these are some times that we're going to be able to talk about it. It's going to be some times that we're going to have to come together and pool our resources. These are some times that we just got to believe in things beyond ourselves. It's some times that we just got to keep on pressing forward towards the mark. These are the times that we just have to really knuckle down and do the work that we have to do in our own community. So I'm thankful again to be able to be on the show again. Thank you, CAN TV, for another opportunity to present another show and to bring on some good people in the neighborhood. Some folks in the neighborhood that's really committed to the work. And then, of course, you're watching Fathers Who Care, and our theme is any man that's physically capable can make a baby. But it takes a real man to be a father. So I get a kick out of going out and bringing in some of the men that I know who do the work. Yeah, they get a check, but they don't work for the check, all right? They work for the love, they work for the servants, and these are true servants. And you know, this month we've been kind of focusing on men empowering men, and men making a difference in the lives of our children and a difference in our community. And we do believe that when men stand up, little boys have to sit down. Now, I'm not questioning you guys out there, what you do, why you do it, and any of that for that matter. All I'm saying is let's do it together. You know, teamwork can make the dream work. I really believe that. I believe that united we stand, divided we fall. And so what I want to do this evening, I want to kind of use this show, if we can, to talk about some effective programs that's going on. I want to first encourage some of these young people who are interested in being part of a drop-in center, some youth leadership and development programming, to give us a call at Fathers Who Care at 773-287-5821, 773-287-5821. We're looking for young people between the ages. We got two different cohorts of workers, 13 to 24. And we want these young people to come in and have a safe space for themselves to create and do some things young people like to do. Whatever those things might be, but we want to be involved in it. And, you know, we got youth coordinators and directors who are working in that area. But also I want to encourage those of you who are in the neighborhood to be concerned about your mental health, be concerned about parental involvement programs, be concerned about violence prevention program, be concerned about anger management. You know, we talk to a lot of young people, and you know, young people be saying, you know, I got anger management issues. How can they even articulate that? You know, to have an anger management issue, unless somebody done told them that.
Right.
And so since someone done told them that, someone probably also prescribe some medication for them, all right?
Right.
And then you really gonna probably have some anger management issues now,
right?
And trying to come down off that medicine.
Absolutely.
But anyway, what we want to do tonight, we want to use this show to talk about some of the good things that's going on in the community, how we can play an intricate role in creating systemic changes in our neighborhood, and how if it is to be, it must begin with me. So if it begin with me, then it begin with you. And if it begin with you, then all of us need to work together for social change. So let's do this here. Let's just take a little step back and let's present to some and introduce to others, and we're going to call them. We're going to call out our good brother Steveon Drisdell, and we're going to invite him up to tell us about some of the good work that he's doing over there at Metropolitan Family Services, but specifically with Metropolitan Peace Initiative. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
And so I take it that you're doing this work on the west side, the south side of Chicago. You're actively involved in empowering folks in the areas of violence prevention, intervention, and support. Is that fair?
Correct.
So be a little bit more articulate, but don't tell us now about the job part. We'll get to that in a minute.
Yes,
right?
sir.
Because we know you're a senior director, a senior program director, right?
Senior program officer.
Senior
We're
program
going to speak the directorship into existence.
It's there.
Good.
It's there. It's there.
Definitely.
I personally think when they say an officer, that's what's next.
Yes, sir.
If you ain't already doing it, you're probably already doing the work.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
You know?
Absolutely.
But I guess it's another level.
Yeah.
So we'll speak that directorship into place. How about that?
Absolutely.
Since you're claiming it, we're going to claim it with you.
Absolutely.
But look, let's talk about this. Tell us about what motivates you to do the work that you're doing And then we're going to come back and we're going to talk about specifically the work that you're doing with the initiative, the Peace Initiative. Then we're going to talk about some other things in relationship to that. But tell us, why you are committed? Why are you so passionate about the work that you are doing in the community? Why? It takes a certain person. You do know that.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
And I felt like I was called to do it. Like you say, it takes a type of person, and I'm thankful to be and humbled to be that type of person. Working on the West Side and working with organizations like UCAN, INVC, Breakthrough, Build, and a couple other organizations. I do it because I want to be the change that we talk about, right? We have a lot of people that talk about changes that they want to happen in the community, and it's good. It's good. I love what they say, but then when it comes to boots on the ground, they're nowhere to be found. I'm thankful in my career to have been able to be boots on the ground and seeing things firsthand, and then to be able to grow to the level that I'm at now. But I do this because I do it for the next generation of Black men. I think one thing that helps us strive in the Black community is seeing other Black folks lead and do the stuff that they talk about.
Right.
So I think it's important that those young Black men that are in the Holy City, in the back of the yards, and in East and West Garfield Park, in order for them to be part of that change, they have to see people that look like them doing it. And so I want to make sure that I'm being a positive reinforcement for our folks in the community.
You just mentioned doing work over in the Holy City. Most of those who don't know, when we talk about the Holy City, we're talking about Lawndale.
Right.
We're talking about 16th Street.
Absolutely.
We're talking about Anton Dvorak School. We're talking about Penn School. We're talking about Mason. We're talking about the Bucket of Blood. We're talking about the chicken place, Sir Chicken.
I wish they come back.
You know what? Hey, listen. I mean, you just brought up a lot of memories, man. I mean, because most of us who kind of anchored this work, most of us, for the most part, anchored it on the West Side.
Yeah.
And most of us really came out of North Lawndale.
Yeah.
I mean, it was one of the foundational communities that folk were really working feverishly in the neighborhood. You know what I mean? Like the Carolyn Vessels, the ABC centers, all of those places, right?
Oh, yeah.
And so we really kind of labored hard over there with the O'Quinn's and Ernie Jenkins and Gloria Jenkins and Robert Steele and Michael Scott Sr., all of them folks, right? So we're talking about some days back with Bill Henry and all these folks, man, when we were working feverishly. And so that's what the good thing about it is, that we still have that energy.
Yes, sir.
It's just that it's our shoulders now, that we're standing on their shoulders, but now we got young people standing on our shoulders.
Absolutely.
So I'd like to talk to you in that vein about your job. Okay. You're working for the principal organization is Metropolitan Family Services.
Correct.
Which has a program or an initiative in it called the Metropolitan Peace Initiative.
Absolutely.
Tell us about that, about both of them.
Well, Metropolitan Family Services, as we know, has been one of the largest and longest standing social service agencies in the state of Illinois. And it's just a blessing to be part of that. And to that point, they've grown so much that now they were able to create another division of the Metropolitan Family Services called Metropolitan Peace Initiative, which is led by our Von Bryant, who is the Vice President and CEO of MPI. And with that program, it's just taken off. Like we were talking about with CP4P, which stands for Community Partnering for Peace. This has been an initiative that started in 2017, 2018, and really hit the ground running.
It did. It did.
And gathered and brought a lot of organizations together.
That would normally work together.
Right, because we were so siloed. I think CP4P took those organizations out of those silos and brought them to the table and said, we can do more together than we can by ourselves, like we were just talking about. If you want to go fast, you go alone. You want to go far, you go together. So CP4P brought in all of the organizations from the south side to the west side to the north side and the east side, geared toward violence prevention and intervention, and said, hey, let's do this together. What I do specifically is I work in collaboration with West Side not-for-profit organizations geared toward violence prevention, assisting them with technical assistance, whether it be financial, budgeting issues, contract creation, amendments, behavioral health in terms of, just getting counseling done for folks that need it, and legal. MPI encompasses all those things, and we provide those services through the partnerships and then to our people.
Okay. Go ahead.
Being a senior program officer, I'll be coming up on my 2-year mark, which is, it just feels like yesterday I just started, but things are always moving, and I'm so happy to be
You may
part
have
of.
just started that initiative, but
Right.
you've been in the field for a long time.
I've been a servant for
Yeah.
10 plus years.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know, like they say, the leader role is a servant role, and I really believe
Absolutely.
I've been blessed because I've been humbled to be a servant, and I'll
Okay.
continue to be a servant regardless of the title that I'm given. I always go by the title of servant. So, being humble and blessed, I've been allowed to work with such great people and great leadership under Von Bryant, and then my direct report, Edith Luley, it's just been phenomenal. Being able to foster different relationships and partnerships over these last couple of years, and meeting new folks that are just driven to the commitment of change.
Okay.
And it's
So with that change in mind, one of my objectives has always been empowering men.
of course.
We have a Westside Men's Initiative that we meet faithfully, and then we have Men Empowering Men, and then we have, of course, men cafes that we work. And so I guess what I would like to ask of you is, can you share with our audience why is it so important for men to be actively involved in our communities, actively involved in helping to reduce violence, senseless violence in our community? Why is it important for men of color, specifically, to be actively involved in the neighborhoods?
Each one teach one. It's important, like I said before, it's important for us to see people that look like us doing the work, specifically in Black communities. Again, me growing up in North Lawndale, I had a lot of mentorships. Pastor Phil Jackson, with Lawndale Christian Church.
The Firehouse.
Yep, the Firehouse.
Yeah.
The Firehouse Community Arts Center, which is a prominent place right now.
Yeah.
He started that, but before he started that, he was
Across the street.
He was across the street,
Yeah,
and he
yeah.
ran Lawndale Christian Youth,
Yeah.
where we were introduced to various successful Black men around the city of Chicago. We go watch them speak. They come speak to us, and we just fellowship. And being that young and seeing those Black prominent figures in place like that,
Yeah.
it motivated me. It motivated me, and it let me know that I could do it. And so I think that, again, having more Black men in our community, it alleviates us having to bring in folks that show us how to do things, right?
And yeah.
It's one thing, and there's nothing against other cultures coming in and assisting us, but I think for us to be extremely successful, we have to be led by our people.
No, I don't think it's ever an issue with collaborating.
Of course.
But you can't tell me how to be a Black man.
Right.
And you can't teach my son how to be to experience what he's experiencing.
Absolutely.
It takes a Black man to do that.
Absolutely.
Now, I'm not saying that you may not be able to bring some good practices or
Absolutely.
some practices that may have some data behind it. Carl Bell may be able to come in and echo some good things for
Yes.
me.
Right.
However, I'm really convinced that that we all need to share the intellectual resources so that we can create healthy, holistic communities.
Absolutely.
In that, some things may work over in Oak Park, may not work in Austin.
Right.
Matter of fact, you ain't gonna be playing too much of anything in Oak Park. You're gonna keep that over in Austin,
Right.
Because the community dynamics are different.
Yeah.
So I guess what I'm trying to say is, I'm trying to talk to the specifics of mentorship, right?
Right.
I'm talking to the specifics of I'm talking about even women mentoring young women. I think it's really important that women mentor young women.
Absolutely.
And I'm not against folks collaborating, but I also believe that there should be a safe haven for folks to come in and speak their minds.
Absolutely.
To share some of the experiences that they may be facing that someone else may not understand that they're facing. I'm not against folks seeking out clinical intervention. I think it has its place.
Absolutely.
I think anyone that may be feeling some kind of way, which is what the young people say, I'm feeling some kind of way.
Right.
If they feeling some kind of way, they at the point of saying that they're feeling something.
Yes.
Right.
They're asking for help.
They're asking for help.
Yeah.
So those are some buzzwords that when you hear that coming from our young people, then we know we need to provide some support.
Yeah.
So that person may need a little intervention. It may need some counseling.
Mm-hmm.
It may need an opportunity to be in a nurturing environment where they can be young people.
Absolutely.
I mean, and say what peace circles have always been a good thing.
Yes. Yes.
When folks are in peace circles, those who actually know it and participate, the peace circles give you an opportunity to have a nurturing environment. And what happens in the circle stays in the circle.
Right.
And so when young people, I like to engage young people in that.
Right. Because,
them young folks get a chance, if you facilitate it properly, they get a chance to recognize and to elaborate on different things that they're going through that they may not talk about.
Yeah.
But because of this circle and because of the openness of it, they can be able to talk freely.
Yeah.
So tell me, what do you think we're missing in order to try to curb this senseless violence in our community? What can we do as black men?
Mm-hmm.
What can we do as a community to help save our children in our community? What can we do?
So I wanted to speak on a point where you were saying how it takes black men to raise young black men and
Go
how
ahead,
it takes black women to raise young black women. One thing I think, again, with the CP4P collaboration that we've done is, again, we've taken folks out of silos and brought them together. Speaking of which, UCAN has a She Rose program over there where it's strictly for young women of color. Mm-hmm. And they're being taught and educated by women of color. Mm-hmm. And other folks with, degreed people and things of that sort. But back to your point of it takes us to raise us in a sense. What we're missing is what CP4P has embodied, which is collaboration. Like I said, CP4P has done a phenomenal job. And now I think if we take that same initiative into our communities, into our homes, we are more than capable and equipped with making our community better. It's about getting our people to buy in, right? Okay. I think we're in a technological revolution where money is so quick. It's not like it was before, right? When we were younger, money wasn't so readily available. Prime example, there was no Uber, there was no Lyft, things of that sort.
Right.
To allow you to make money so fast, right? You had to really put in the grunt work. Me, for example, my first job wasn't a paid job. I worked at the Austin Branch Library, learning the Dewey Decimal System. That wasn't paid. That was all volunteer. So once I started making the money, I was thankful, but I had a purpose, right? My purpose wasn't chasing money. The money would come. That's what they say. You do what you love, and the money will come. I think now, because money is so readily available and there's so many different avenues you can create to make money, YouTube and
they're doing it too.
And they're doing it. We didn't have YouTube. I remember when once upon a time
some
Facebook,
things you don't have to do though on YouTube, right?
Right.
You got to show everything on there,
right?
Save some for your life when you get married.
Absolutely. But again, it's hard for folks to want to buy into a training program, right?
Okay.
Where it's taking them 6 and 12 weeks of, a stipend. They're used to quick money, so when you're trying to tell folks to take a stipend, they're looking at like, man, I'm making more money Lyft, Ubering,
absolutely.
Fresh Cart, Amazon Fresh, things of that sort. So that's what our challenge is. How do we become financially competitive like the others?
Okay.
How do we give the same value that they put on things like Uber? And again, I'm not talking illy of Uber or anything of that sort. I'm just trying to get us to understand, how do we take that model, fast money per se, and adapt that and put it into our communities for violence intervention and prevention.
Well, go ahead and stay on that discussion. Let's move that into the violence prevention arena, which we know that most of us in our communities face spike all the time of senseless violence,
Yeah.
and and folks are younger and younger, carjacking, carrying guns, using guns, chemically dependent. So
Yeah.
these young folks are really going through things. So what are you seeing as the cause, if you will, for this influx in violence in our communities, and what can we do collectively to address it?
Yeah, I think technology is it's a plus, but it's also a negative.
So be more specific when you say technology, because
Technology.
I would think you'd be saying like social media.
Okay, so yeah, social media. When
That's
I
what
say
I'm thinking, right?
When I say technology, I'm talking about social media. I'm
Okay.
talking about the different platforms you can get
Okay.
on to express yourself.
That's what I
And
thought you were
then
saying.
The different platforms you get on that you're learning from, TikTok,
Okay.
things of this sort. And
Right.
I guess these.
Okay, it could be a positive and a negative. That's what
Right,
you're
it's a
telling me.
positive and a negative, but the
Okay.
negative side is that they're glorifying drugs.
Okay.
Right? You know, rap videos, they're glorifying the guns, the women, the money, the accessibility to the drugs. And so now you have inquisitive minds seeing this, and instead of taking that smartness that they possess for the good, they're now using it for the bad, because you know what, they seen X, Y, and Z on TikTok.
Right.
Try it this way, so you know what, let me try it this way. And so what we've seen now is a domino effect of an increase in violence as it pertains to gun usage. We see an increase in drugs and overdoses because it's being glorified on social media.
Okay. So what can we do? I mean, you're so true, and I think that's one that I'm not knocking phones, because trust me, I use it, but I use it for what I've needed for.
Right.
And I don't really get on there and try to be the gangster of the year, or whatever they
We
call
need
it.
to bring back house phones.
Well, that wouldn't be a bad thing. That wouldn't be and pagers. You know, I remember I had the hardest time literally trying to get away from a BlackBerry going into the iPhone.
Absolutely.
I mean, I had the hardest time. But with that being said, we understand that social media plays a role. What can we do to encourage our young people, maybe not to be so swayed by what they see on social media, but to put down those guns and pick up this book, to maybe not follow social media and believe in everything that they see,
Right.
as opposed to living a life that's wholesome,
Yeah.
that's conducive, you know?
I think that spaces like Facebook and Instagram should be more in the loop as it pertains to violence in certain demographic areas, right?
Okay.
So Chicago. So if I'm Facebook there, I would really guard certain things that are shown depending on areas, right? So
Okay.
if we know that this particular area is heavily populated with violence, sex, and drugs, when it comes to algorithms, maybe we need to put more positive algorithms in play, you know, showing Black folks picking up books, showing Black folks
Absolutely.
walking across stages for
Okay.
graduation, showing them using their hands in a trade, showing them picking their brothers and sisters up if they fall. If we had more positive reinforcement, I think that could help. That wouldn't be the end all be all, but it could be a starting
Yeah,
point.
it could be. It could it could be a good offshoot, or as you alluded to, it could be a natural way for folks to kind of curb some things and empower themselves in some other areas.
Yeah.
But I'm thinking on another level too. I want to encourage them, if someone is watching right now and they was interested in some of the programs that you're talking about, how to empower young people, how to be actively involved in some of the violence prevention initiative, how to join some of these programs or some of these activities that are really coming together to empower folks in the community, to engage our young people, but to make sure that we have safe spaces in our neighborhood and we reclaim community areas that used to be infested, but we're coming back and we're making a positive stand. How could one get in touch with you if they're interested in volunteering or want to be involved?
So speaking of technology, this is one of the pluses of technology. Everybody has a phone. So if you're watching, you can always go onto our website, metropolitanpeaceinitiatives.org, and there are tabs and different segments for you to click on to research more about the organization, but also avenues of help, whether it's and it doesn't really matter the neighborhood you live in. The goal for MPI is to eventually be in all of the neighborhoods in Chicago, but we're getting to that point. But if you go onto the website, you can see with ease the different not-for-profit organizations that we collaborate with. Here on the West Side, we collaborate with UCAN, Breakthrough, UCAN for North Lawndale, Breakthrough for East and West Garfield Park, and then you have Austin with INVC and Build with Austin and West Garfield. So there are plenty of resources for you to benefit from if you are in need of them. So like I said, Metropolitan Peace Initiative.org, and you can go in there and navigate it. And phone numbers, there are phone numbers on that website as well that you can call in case you're not tech savvy in navigating websites. You can always call. So,
Well, listen, I want to thank my brother for coming in, for always being so supportive. He's been so supportive with our young people, making sure that our young people had an elder to speak to and to talk about the good programs that's going on. But we also want to encourage those of you, we need you. We need you actively involved. We can't do it by ourselves. Each one need to teach one, as you alluded to earlier. But the real deal is we need to reclaim our spaces. We need to reclaim those spaces in our community. We need to go back to some of the values that we had in our community, where men were more involved in the neighborhoods, and that folks down the block knew about the folks on the other side of the block, and that all of us was working together. So
as a village.
Yeah, as a village.
As a village.
So we want to encourage you all to give us a call at 773-287-5821, 773-287-5821, or log on to fatherswhocare.org. I want to thank you, good brother, for all the work that you're doing. Keep up the good work.
Sir.
Keep on staying the course and stay on that fence, and keep on loving on the people. I mean, it's obvious that you love what you do.
Yes, sir.
So listen, we love you. God bless you. Keep the faith. Listen, all things can work together for the good for those of us who love God and are called by His will. So I want to tell you, pick one, teach one, mentor one, each one, teach one. God bless you. Good night, and keep the faith. We'll see you soon.
Thank you, guys.